Imagine looking out a hospital window and seeing a dog sitting motionless in the freezing rain, refusing to eat, refusing to move, just staring at the front doors. For 11 agonizing days, this dog did exactly that. But what happened on the 12th day completely shattered everything the medical staff thought they knew. By the end of this story, you will understand why this wasn't just a heartwarming tale of loyalty, but a biological phenomenon that forced scientists to rewrite the rules of animal cognition. We have all heard the legends of dogs waiting for their owners. Stories like Hachiko have conditioned us to think we understand canine devotion. We look at these animals and project our own human emotions onto them. We assume they just missed their best friend. But when a scruffy mixed breed sat outside a bustling city hospital for nearly 2 weeks, experts realized something entirely different was happening beneath the surface. But here is where the story takes a massive shift away from a simple fairy tale. This dog was not just waiting blindly. He was tracking something specific. You see, the owner had been rushed into the emergency room after a sudden collapse, and the dog chased the ambulance for 3 miles before setting up camp at the entrance. The hospital staff tried to shoo him away. They offered him treats, warm blankets, and shelter. He rejected all of it. To understand why, we have to look at a landmark 2018 study published in the journal Learning and Behavior by Dr. Gregory Berns at Emory University. Berns used MRI scanners to map the brains of awake, unrestrained dogs. He discovered that the canine brain processes the scent of a familiar human in the caudate nucleus, the exact same reward center that lights up in humans anticipating immense joy or love. However, the study noted a critical complexity. This neurological spike did not happen with just any human scent, nor did it happen consistently if the dog was highly stressed. The bond had to be absolute, and the scent had to overcome immense environmental noise. This next part is what nobody wants to admit about our pets. They process grief and time differently than we do. The dog outside the hospital was not experiencing days the way you or I do. He was living in a constant, unbroken present loop anchored by one fading scent. A dog's nose possesses up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our measly 6 million. The part of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smells is proportionally 40 times greater than ours. The hospital vents were pushing out thousands of smells, medical chemicals, hundreds of strangers, and death. Yet, through that massive chemical storm, his olfactory system locked onto the microscopic skin cells of his owner. He was not just smelling the air. He was reading a complex chemical biography of the entire building. Ask yourself this: who in your life would sit in the freezing rain for 11 days, ignoring their own basic survival instincts, just on the fading hope that you might walk through a door? As the days dragged on, the dog began to deteriorate. His ribs showed. His paws bled from pacing the abrasive concrete. The staff finally called animal control because they feared he was going to die right there on the pavement. The catch pole was out. The van was running. They were moments away from taking him to a shelter. But what happened next changes the entire context of this tragedy. Just as the officer tightened the loop, a nurse rushed out of the sliding doors shouting for them to stop. She was pushing a wheelchair. In that wheelchair was a frail, pale man hooked up to an oxygen tank. The owner had not died. He had been in a medically induced coma for over a week and had just regained consciousness the moment the dog heard the squeak of those wheelchair tires. The exhaustion vanished. He broke through the animal control perimeter and leaped into the man's lap. The MRI scans Dr. Berns talked about were playing out in real time. The dog had not just been waiting. He was actively smelling that his owner was still alive, inside the building the entire time. Most dogs wait out of habit. This one waited because he already knew the ending. Subscribe if you want to understand the patterns behind history's greatest secrets.